is Rosemary Ingham. Hobbs and I, as I knew him, were friends pretty much starting the first day of my freshman year of college, where he welcomed me to the dorm that I was living in. I feel like the thing that he and I shared that not everyone else did was I was in his Dungeons and Dragons group, and the magnitude of this thing he made, it was, I mean, the world got to see his books and at least two of them, the craft that went into that, and the love and the thought and the care and the ability to take you off to another world and make you believe everything. But this was sort of his private performance for a group of about 10 readies that was amazing. I was trying to pick out stories from it, but it's hard because he made the entire world, and it's hard to sum up your interactions with an entire world out of somebody's head. So all I can come up with is sort of just to give some idea of how detailed and intense this thing he made was. A group of us, every Friday, the whole time I was in college, every Friday a group of us would play starting around 7 if we were there on time until the wee hours of the morning. And for many of us, we would talk about it all week. And all of the people that long-term were in that group were the kind of person that's really annoying to have in a role-playing group because we take it really seriously and we ambush you all the time with like, okay, but how does this work? You know, if you said this is how this society works, then, you know, how's their economy functioning? And he could answer you. And well, so we had a wikia, mostly written by me, some written by Fluffy Cass, in which we detailed all of the world that he made and wrote down everything he said. And I don't know how big that wikia is, beyond that when I downloaded it was a fairly large text file. But I do know that we, when Google Wave briefly existed, we used that for one semester to talk about our plans. And just us planning how we were going to get around Hobbs was longer than Moby Dick. Everybody was so involved in this world that he made. And I remember one year he made a 3-dimensional, elaborate map for us to run up and down. He wrote an entire document in Latin describing different demons, which I was trying to translate. And I had about a year of Latin tops, I think half a year. This is a story that I was trying to read it out, and it was something like, my Latin's very bad, but it was like, hominum invisibula redito, and he said, and someone said, you know, she can't translate that, and I said, yeah, but she needs to stop saying invisible man on Reddit. You would think that you had caught him in a contradiction, and there would be some reason that made sense and was a secret you'd uncovered in the world. And I don't know if how many he planned and how many he did on the spot, but he was so sharp. There was always a reason for things. And the characters that we took on, a lot of them he either made up himself or helped us develop, and he would find you a character who embodied what you wanted to be. Not necessarily like your most friendly self or your best self that your teacher would ask for, but like who you wanted to be and who it was exciting to get to be for an evening. And that changed my life in ways that will stay with me forever, because I was a very shy, sheltered person who felt like a pushover a lot of the time, who was terrified of what other people thought, and he gave me this character that was like this sort of horror from the deep but who had to save the world, and who was not scared of anyone or anything, and who was completely hilariously overconfident in her own ability. And I'm not that person now, because that person's actually very hard to get along with, but I was able to become all the parts of that I wanted, and I always will be now, and I owe that to him.